Hey everyone, it is Laura, your financial coach, as I help you prepare financially for adoption or fertility. As you've probably have read my bio, you know a little bit more about my life than I know about yours. And my husband and I were married in 2011 and tried to have a family on our own. And of course, that didn't work. And then we did fertility, and that ended in miscarriage. And we're very blessed to be able to have adopted 3 children. So that's just a little bit about me if you haven't already stalked me on my website. But the first step that I want to talk about in regards to preparing financially for adoption or fertility, and that is the importance of coming together as a team, as a husband and wife. You guys are a team. And I've created 10 money date guidelines that you can help you get on that same page to communicate effectively. And so the first one is that it's important you meet weekly, every week. And when you get together and you're like, okay, hey, does Tuesday night at 8 o'clock work? Oh, you have class. Okay. How about Sunday night at 9 o'clock? Does that work for you? And you're like, oh yeah, that works for me. Okay, great. Awesome. And it's creating that time that the two of you are able to decide on when it works. Okay. And make sure that it's just the two of you. And I know that if you already have children and you're wanting to add more, and it's very hard to get that togetherness without children being there. But if you need to make sure the kids get to bed at a certain time so you can be together, or having a babysitter, or sending them over to a friend's house, whatever it may be, so that the two of you are together, just the two of you. And when during the week, you're going to have some really stressful things happen. It always happens. Maybe your spouse bought something at the 7-Eleven and it really pissed you off. And you're like, oh my gosh, that made me so mad. Well, instead of addressing it at that time, I want you to get a book, a little journal, and I want you to write it down and say, okay, this is how this made me feel. This is why. What was going on in my life that made me feel this way? Instead of having those explosions throughout the week, I want you to let that dissipate. And at money date, I want you to sit down and say, okay, hey, when you bought that smoothie the other day, I thought that money was, I was uncertain as to where that money was coming from, and it made me feel frantic. And your spouse is like, oh, I had no idea that this is where that money was coming from. This was my personal savings account that I was taking that from. And if you don't know about your personal spending accounts, then you can definitely schedule the time with me, and we can set that up during the discovery session. But these are just a couple of the guidelines. There's going to be a link that you can download your 10 money date guidelines as well as the agenda, and it's free to do that. And if you have any questions, check back with us later in the week.